here we are again, at the House of Horrors. I'm afraid I haven't gotten used to the place yet. I'd still like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the confectionery, of course. I like that they say it twice. Sato-san really is after something sweet today, isn't she? You know what? Me too. I went and got donuts earlier. I feel good. Eek! What's the matter? Look! Miss Naruhodo! Look at that waxwork! I'm quite sure it wasn't there before. Is it Holmes? It looks exactly like Mr. Sholmes, down to the very last detail. Aha! What is it? Oh, sorry. I think you'll find that's the temporary waxwork himself. Oh my god! What was your... the friend of my dedicated employee. Oh yes, hello again. It's Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I must say, I'm quite spellbound by the great detective. He is a marvel. My precious waxwork is already back where it belongs. You don't mean... But yes, the mystery is solved already. Wow, Mr. Sholmes can really engage his brain when he's hungry enough. So as you can see, he has returned to his habitual duties. Yes. His habitual duties? Our laws? Do not disturb, huh? Oh, what? I'm gonna disturb. I don't care what you say. Poor Susato-san. She looks very perplexed. Wait, does that mean she just said that she got her thing back? Is that what she just said? Or like insinuated? How do I move? We really do need to speak with Mr. Sholmes, and I'm longing to say hello again. But where is he? Oh god, he's gonna punch her! Watch out, Mrs. Sato! I think you might find that he's quite nearby, actually. Oh! What do you... Indeed, my dear fellows, it is I! The world-famous great detective and waxwork, Herlock Sholmes! Oh god, did she faint? Susato-san! Susato-san! Oh my god! Did you meet her faint, Sholmes? Oh! My most humble apologies. I thought I died and gone to eternal paradise for a moment via London. My dear madame, allow me to make amends by offering you a tasty free deduction at some point. What? Oh, as long as it's not questionable street food quality. I don't understand. Why are you working as a waxwork here, Mr. Sholmes? Merely a secret identity, you understand. Though the case is largely solved now. Largely solved? We're talking about the waxwork abduction, I presume? Indeed we are, my good fellow. As I predicted, it was as easy as proverbial pie. Though I confess, I'm yet to partake of a pie, proverbial or otherwise, or any food so far today for that matter. Oh god. You know what? Me too. I'm also hungry right now. That stomach rumble echoed across the whole museum. So how did you manage to solve it so quickly? Well, do remember I said it was largely solved. Anyway, I simply negotiated with the culprit. Are you familiar with the so-called telephone? Oh yes, it's a most modern invention, allowing you to hold a conversation with people far away. Oh yeah, I guess it's new for them. In Japan, only the imperial capital and a handful of other cities are connected as yet. This morning, a telephone call was received here from the perpetrator of the abduction. As such, I was able to negotiate terms, and in the end, the waxwork was returned. That's amazing! Just between you and I, it would appear the culprit had always intended to return the stolen waxwork in any event. Is the culprit? The culprit's an engineer, isn't it? Oh, but I thought whoever was responsible had demanded a ransom, no? Yes, I think perhaps the ransom demand was necessary to avoid unwanted suspicion regarding the true motive. But does that not mean your negotiating was entirely unnecessary? Well, a fact that I must ask you to keep from Madame Tuspel's at all costs. A hungry young Iris awaits my return to Baker Street, after all. Poor Iris. I didn't even see her. Now then, do I sense that you have some business with this great waxwork? Yeah, let's talk. Oh, that's right, with the fucking I forgot why we wanted to talk to him. We have to call him out on the fucking his lie. We're in the process of trying to track somebody down. Oh? Yes, a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. He's the swindler who duped Professor Hairbrain and the engineer who built the Kinesis machine. Kinesis. A swindler and an engineer. Quite the modern man. He also seems to be a conjurer of sorts too, with considerable knowledge of stage magic. We really need to locate him before the trial resumes tomorrow morning. But we have so few clues to go on. That's the trouble. Do you have any good ideas? I have no data yet. It is a capital mistake to have good ideas before one has data. If I knew something of a man's appearance, at least, I might be in a better position to help. Yes, Drebber's appearance. Fortunately for you, however, personally, I have little to occupy myself and little to fill my stomach. As soon as you find any clue, no matter how small, should gladly give you my thoughts on it. I'm ready to fucking call you out. Start sweating. Mr. Sholmes, did you lie to us? My dear Mr. Naruhodo, stay that piercing stare. What is this about? Last winter, when we were first on our way to Britain, aboard the steamship, your words were very clear. So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. You told us that it was murder, and you examined Kazuma-sama's body. Indeed. And wherein lies the problem? We met him earlier today. The victim, Kazuma Asogi. You're quite sure? He was wearing some sort of a mask, and was apparently suffering from amnesia. But yes, I'm quite sure it was Kazuma-sama. You must have known at the time, Mr. Sholmes, that he wasn't actually dead. Well, I can only assume I was swept up in the murderous atmosphere at the moment. But the fellow wasn't dead at all? Ah! Ha ha ha. Priceless. I don't suppose that performance would pass muster, would it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh god, come on, you look so suspicious when you say it like that. I could believe that the crewman present at the time made a mistake, but not you, Mr. Sholmes. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. I don't know what that word means. I've seen it plenty of times and I've heard it plenty of times and I don't know exactly what that means. Please, Mr. Sholmes. Tomorrow in court, you will find yourself on the threshold of a very great mystery. For now, I'm afraid that is all I can say. Damn it! Fine. I had a feeling he wouldn't say anything, but at the same time, I wanted him to say something. Here, see this man. You probably know him. He's probably the one that you were negotiating with. Mr. Sholmes, would you cast your eyes over this photographic print? It's of Mr. Enoch Drebber, the face of the engineer we seek. Well, all Englishmen look broadly the same, of course. So looking at the photograph won't be particularly instructive. Are you alright, Mr. Sholmes? Ah, yes, forgive me. Very interesting, this. Very interesting indeed. What's wrong, Mr. Sholmes? You've turned quite pale all of a sudden. He's the man that you talk to! I have a suggestion, Mr. Naruhodo. Will you indulge me? Oh? Well, what is it? As I explained to you when you arrived, the missing waxwork has been returned. Man, and I personally reinstalled it into the exhibit from which it was taken, behind those thick curtains. Man, I'm trying to get this done before the sun goes down fully. Oh yes, the professor exhibit, isn't it? Would you like to see it? For a mere 5 shillings? That's a special one-time only price, you understand? You're charging me? You don't even fucking... This isn't your place! What? You may work here, but you can't charge people. The opportunity won't come again, I might add. Wouldn't you like to see the fruits of my labor? Oh, Well, we do have a rather pressing investigation to carry out. Perhaps we could postpone. The price is a very reasonable 5 shillings. I think you'll find it worth it. I don't know how much 5 shillings is, but I don't have it. I know why he wants to show it to us, because we want to be shocked at the fact that it's probably going to be a figure of Asmund, or of the professor. But are you being quite serious, Mr. Sholmes? Surely you need only look at my expression to ascertain if this is seriousness or silliness. I can never tell with you. That's the point. Very well. It couldn't hurt. Here's your 5 shillings. You can't! He can't be charging us! This isn't his fucking place! Rightfully received. I know you gotta feed Iris, but damn, man. We're also poor. So, the special exhibit awaits behind the curtain. I invite you to peruse it at your leisure. But wait a minute. He knows the man! You need to tell us where he is so we can fucking arrest him. Well, the money's been spent, so let's go see the special exhibit. Dun 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 dun. Through those heavy curtains at last. So is he back at his spot? He is! Alright, fine, let's just go in there. Do we examine the curtain? 5 shillings we've had to pay. It doesn't seem right somehow that Mr. Sholmes slipped that money into his own pocket, does it? No. We can ask Gina to retrieve it for us, using her special skills. Pickpocketing police officers and diddling detectives. Is this what makes Britain great? Not to mention, demigod prosecutors taking the law into their own hands or chip-loving inspectors. Inspector Gregson comes off rather well in that list, I think. Get in there! Hurry up! Why does this need to happen? Come on! Show us what's behind the curtain. My heart literally just fucking... Where's his fucking head? And who is this person on the left? Oh dear! I felt a shiver run down my spine as soon as we walked in here. Mrs. Sato! I say we turn our heels and go straight home. Via a really big fucking confectionery. We certainly can't do that. We've paid 5 shillings already. True. Now, how is this supposed to help me? Actually, now I'm looking more closely. We've paid good money to see an exhibit that's clearly incomplete. The nerve of the great diddling detective is far more terrifying than anything else in this place. This must be what Mr. Sholmes meant when he said the case was largely solved. Be that as it may, Mr. Sholmes heavily implied there'd be a clue about the engineering here, didn't he? But where? Since we paid 5 shillings, let's do 5 shillings worth of investigation, shall we? Yes! We will get what we paid for. Is that fear or frustration that's making Susato-san's voice tremble? God damn it, hurry up. I don't got places to be, but I'm trying to beat this before the sun beats me. This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real. It seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand too. Look. He also has a weird face. What's wrong with his face? Perhaps I should investigate a little bit more in detail. Turn around? He's got a camera. I'm trying to see his face. There he is. The thing. He's got the. Ah, that's scary. I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just. Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibit, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll put it back exactly as it was. Don't worry. Why don't you? You should be a. What? Oh, he turned it around. What on earth? How can... I don't believe it. A black monocle. Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is... Yes. It's an Ogdrubber. Did he get so shocked that his hair turned white? The color of his hair is different, but it's unmistakably him. It's unmistakably him. That's a scary face. He found a man crawling out of a grave? Indeed it is. Who's saying this? Oh. Mr. Sholmes! This man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe? Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? Why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So then the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head, tout de suite, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Do you know, though, something about this room is strange. Strange? Oh, what do you mean? Well, the display in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Mrs. Sato. Do go on. And as terrifying as they are, the scene in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... This surely couldn't ever really have happened, could it? I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incident involving the professor 10 years ago. I didn't even examine this. Oh man, there's still a lot to talk about. Fine. This must be the killer. The fiend knows as the professor. Yes, I think so. According to what Madame Tispel said, he killed 5 victims, all of noble royal blood. The waxwork is so lifelike, isn't it? Like all the models in this place. I know. It looks like it could start moving at any moment, doesn't it? If only it had a head, that is. Perhaps we should examine it in a little more detail. Oh god, careful. Oh god, careful! So this is the condemned man. Yes, the so-called professor. Then perhaps his head was chopped off by a guillotine! But unable to find peace, he emerged from his grave as a headless ghost! Do we have to entertain such terrifying ideas, Mrs. Sato? Anyway, I'm sure the model had a head once. There's a metal fitting for it, see? Then, perhaps Mr. Sholmes absent-mindedly forgot to reattach it? That's an extremely absent-minded detective you're describing, isn't it? Or perhaps the thief absent-mindedly forgot to include the head when he or she returned it to the museum. And that would be an extremely absent-minded thief. Could there have been some reason why only the head wasn't returned? Well, whatever the reason, it means we don't know what the face of the infamous professor looked like, do we? Oh. There's something caught just inside the convict's jacket here. Where? This is the body that went through the... That's glass, right? It's from here? But his body is here. Did the coroner fake his death? I don't know. It looks like a piece of broken glass, and quite a big piece too. It's very thick, isn't it? About 5 times thicker than a normal window glazing, I'd say. Where could such a thick piece of glass have come from, I wonder? I suppose it must have been made thick to increase the strength? But why? Well, perhaps because the glass had to span a particular wide area, such as a big building, for example. We know where it's from. Well, we've seen a large glass building recently, haven't we? And some of the glass was broken too. You don't mean... Exactly. The Crystal Tower at the Great Exhibition. But why would the glass from the Crystal Tower be lodged inside this waxworks jacket? It makes you think, doesn't it? Earlier in court, we established that the kinesis experiment was a trick. And now we discovered this fragment of glass here in this waxwork. Is it just a coincidence? The engineer... Huh? But that just happened. They couldn't have an exhibit that... Huh? Huh? He's still clickable. This part of the exhibit is just as disturbing as the rest. It looks so real. Seems to be a young man in a white overcoat. And he has a large shovel in his hand, too. Look. What? Oh, we no, we don't have to, Actually, we should. We didn't look at the camera. What's this here? Well, this would appear to be a lens in the middle, so I believe it's probably a camera. A camera? But it's so small! British technology is incredible, isn't it? I mean, what about Mr. Sholmes' skin print? I think perhaps you should treat Mr. Sholmes' inventions as exceptions to the rule. But anyway, why would the man be in the graveyard and not with the camera? I wonder. Perhaps he was trying to capture the moment a dead body came back as a ghost on film. We'll just borrow this for a little while, I think. Oh? Huh. By looking at the photographic plate inside the camera, we can see what pictures were taken. What's a photographic plate? It's a piece of glass coated in a special emulsion that reacts to the light coming in through the lens. If we open the cover at the back of the camera, we should find it. Let's have a look. You see yourself, Sato-san. Your eyes are shining. You really do like machinery, don't you? You should be a little bit curious about it. I'm gonna look at the camera. What we won't see. Oh god. Oh look! Oh look! The cover came open. Yes. Now, there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph if you want to take, you see. Is something wrong? There's no plate. It's been removed. What a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. So we'd never have found a photographic print of the executed convict coming back to life anyway. Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course. Poor Sato-san. She looks devastated. What the fuck? What? What was the point of that? Oh! There's blood! On it? Is that blood? What a wonderful machine! You really love contraptions like this, don't you? Oh yes! Anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible. Almost irresistible, surely. Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart. That's worrying. Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch. Poor Professor Mikotoba. What the fuck? Look, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? On the bellows just here, there seems to be some very dark red stains. Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually. Oh my! I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. I can only assume maybe this camera was at the scene of the crime, and that when the person returned back the body, this camera was switched with the replica one or something. I don't even fully know the I don't really understand the situation. All right, we gotta talk to Sholmes. It's getting dark, and I'm hungry. This is probably gonna go on for a while. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims. Everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had all their throats ripped from their bodies. Is this the Hound of the Baskervilles? Oh gosh, an enormous hound. Oh yeah, I guess it must be, right? Because Barak's brother died from the professor, right? Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful! Was that collar his? After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. Really? A closed court? So you mean that the professor's identity? As you've surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. What? How was there an exhibit of it then? Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Lowgate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. Is it the engineer dug him up to look at his face? However, that was not the end of the affair. Oh! The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? He was hung and he lived? Or hanged? Whatever the correct word. He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit here depicts that very scene, as described by the sole witness to those chilling events. There was a witness? Yes, the engineer right here. But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than the young man in the white overcoat. I'd be pretty shocked too. Enoch Drebber. He saw it happen? Why would he be in the cemetery with a shovel to begin with? If he was, maybe he knew that he was alive? It can't be Asmund. No, that can't be right. Maybe? That can't be right, no. So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been debedded and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying! Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he's seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Oh. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him, his hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he's seen was on every front page of the Capitol. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who'd come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at the Madame Tussauds. Oh. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. But what I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place. In a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes. What was he up to? The professor's act of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was a great scandal, one might say, at the very highest levels of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer has ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did the talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten, dismissed as a dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it? Wouldn't you know that it's real? Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. What? No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers. That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing had been heard of him since. Unless... Who was it that investigated the... Oh my god, no, wrong button. Shut up. Wrong button. The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The police? Strongheart? Was he involved in this? Because there's a reason why his hair turned white, right? He must have seen something. I think that's a cover-up. Oh, sorry, I missed this. What did Sholmes say? The young man subsequently vanished from society. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course the convicted murderer couldn't really have come back to life. That's not possible. But Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. Oh my god, what? Jesus, what? Oh my god, Gina! What the bleeding Naruhodo? What have you gone and done? Why are you here? Jesus, you scared me. Gina, What are you doing here? Oh god, she's gonna shoot me. Oh god, she still has that thing. I asked Iris, and she said this is where you be, son. So, I mean, what so? So? You can't shoot indoors! Gina, not so loud in the museum. Madame Tespels will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern. I still have some flash powder left from 6 months ago, so... Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun. Why are you shooting? What are you shooting? Why are you shooting the ceiling for? What does the ceiling do to you? What? What's wrong? Weren't you supposed to be doing something? Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it! We found that dodgy Cove's workshop! What? You found Drubber's workshop? Yup! Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are heading over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Aw, alright then. See you there. I love her outfit. Gina's so cute. My mouth is so dry and tight. You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? Where'd your eyes go? I know my place. In the exhibit over there. Oh dear. Someone is feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes. You're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say. But if I were to shirk my duties here, Madame would have me pay monetary recompense, and Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Oh, forget that. I'll pay for everything. Oh, come on. Ryunosuke, just let him stay here. Oh, then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellows. I shall hail a carriage at once. Oh, fuck. No offer to share the cost from Mr. Sholmes, then. I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo. You're such a good girl, Susato! Thank you, Mrs. Sato. Right, let's go.